Nathan was the heaviest kid in his middle school class, and every morning he slung his overloaded backpack over his shoulders with a heavy groan while classmates stared and whispered behind their hands. His backpack felt like a sack of rocks dragging him down, so he leaned forward and took slow, careful steps through the noisy hallway as lockers slammed around him in echoing bursts. The other students saw him coming from the end of the corridor and pointed fingers at his rounded silhouette before sneering and sharing cruel jokes about his size as he passed. Some called him names like Chub King, Big Blob, or Sir Snack-a-Lot, shouting those words with laughter that bounced off the walls and stuck to Nathan like glue. He pressed his lips together, hiding tears as he stared at the floor tiles, hoping the cool patterns would distract him from the hurt burning in his chest. Even the teachers seemed too busy to notice the harsh whispers and rude laughter, as if they had tuned out his pain in favor of lessons or urgent meetings. Nathan learned to eat his lunches in the empty bathroom stall, gripping his sandwich while staring at chipped white tiles, convinced that silence meant comfort. He counted his bites in secret and wrapped each meal in heavy paper so that the sound of chewing would not echo through the room like a spotlight on shame. Fridays were the worst because the toughest bullies would sneak up behind him and shove his tray until his pizza slid off and his chocolate milk spilled across the floor. He felt each drop of milk land on the cold tile like a mocking splash, and he held his breath until the final bell rang, praying he would not break down in front of everyone. At home, his grandmother tried to comfort him with soft words and warm hugs, but her gentle voice could not erase the harsh echoes of school laughter in his mind. His nights were restless as he lay under a quilt that no longer felt cozy, listening to his own heart thump in the silence, each beat reminding him of another day survived. He wondered whether his parents really understood or if they saw him only as a quiet boy who preferred reading to running and never spoke up about his pain. Each morning, he tightened his belt until it bit into his waist and buttoned shirts that pressed against his belly, hoping the clothes would shrink overnight. He dreamed of being stronger, faster, and leaner so that one day his name would be spoken with respect instead of sneers, and pride would fill his chest instead of shame. In the early dawns, he crept into the park behind his house and ran with every ounce of willpower he could muster, even though his lungs felt like they might burst. His legs trembled and burned with each step up the gravel hill, but he imagined them as engines that carried him toward a future where bullies would fall silent. He watched simple workout videos on his phone and mimicked each movement, practicing push-ups and squats in his living room while his dog Max barked as if cheering him on. After school, he filled empty water jugs with sand and used them as weights in the quiet garage, counting each lift aloud to remind himself of progress made. He wore long sleeves and baggy sweatpants to hide the signs of change from classmates who would only mock any effort they did not understand. Despite his fear of being noticed, he whispered a promise to himself every night that he would not break under their whispers and jokes that cut deeper than any blade. He repeated this promise like a secret mantra whenever cruel words taunted him, believing that if he held on to hope, he might one day rewrite his story. Over the weeks, he noticed the first small victories. His belt notch moved to a tighter hole, and he could carry grocery bags without huffing. His breath grew steadier as he sprinted up the park hill, and the gap between each step felt less like a mountain and more like a gentle rise. He started writing down his workouts and meals in a worn notebook, using simple words and doodles to mark each tiny victory and wave goodbye to each setback. On one special page, he wrote in bold letters, "2 years from today, I will stand tall and show the world who Nathan really is inside." He folded that page into a small square and kept it in his pocket like a treasure map leading him toward every goal he set before sunrise each day. Meanwhile, the bullies continued their mean jokes, but he no longer flinched or looked away because in his heart he carried a quiet strength protected by his promise. He felt a new power stirring in his chest with each early run and every set of secret exercises nobody knew he was doing. He pictured the day he would surprise them all, their eyes widening in shock, jaws dropping in silence, unable to catch the words that might embarrass them. He allowed himself a small grin in those moments, thinking how sweet it would feel to hear them whisper his name with respect instead of mockery. Yet he never showed off or boasted when he caught a glimpse of himself in the morning mirror dressed in sweat-drenched clothes. His only audience was the sunrise that spilled gold across his living room floor, watching him lift those heavy jugs like a hero ready for battle. Even Max, his scruffy dog with wagging tail, seemed to understand and nipped at the air as if cheering each repetition of his makeshift weights. In rain or searing sun, he kept running and lifting, never stopping even when ice formed on the park bench back home or sweat evaporated into steam. He understood that true revenge would not come from cruelty, but from showing the world their hurtful words were as powerless as whispers in a storm. His heart carried no desire for harm, only a wish to stand tall in his own skin and let the echoes of laughter fade beneath the sound of his steady heartbeat. For now he concentrated on each measured breath, each determined stride, and each note scribbled in his secret notebook of hope. He began to believe that self-respect and quiet confidence would one day blot out the memory of every insult they ever hurled. And so each evening Nathan ran home under a sky streaked with pink, smiling softly as he knew his journey had only just begun. 2 years slipped by since Nathan first laced up his worn-out sneakers in the dim light of dawn, and each morning he rose before sunrise to run until his legs shook with fatigue and his breath came in steady gasps. He swapped sugary drinks and greasy snacks for fresh water and crisp vegetables, learning how to prepare simple meals that tasted good and fueled his growing body with steady energy and quiet pride. Each afternoon after school, he headed straight to the community center gym, where he lifted small dumbbells at first and later graduated to heavier barbells under the watchful eyes of a patient trainer. Over time, his arms and shoulders filled out and became firmer, and the mirror in the locker room reflected a taller, slimmer figure staring back with surprised admiration rather than shame. He noticed his jeans fit loosely and that his favorite shirt no longer stretched tight across his chest, and that simple change filled him with a confidence he never knew he could feel. When he walked down the hallway now, he kept his head high and his shoulders back, and classmates who once whispered behind their hands paused in genuine surprise as he passed them by. Even a few teachers commented on how poised he looked, telling him he carried himself like a young athlete growing into his own strength and promising that his future would be bright. Nathan still saw some of his old bullies by the lockers, but they no longer shoved him or spread nasty rumors because they did not recognize the new, assertive student walking past in fitted clothes. At home, his grandmother noticed he had more energy and fewer aches in his joints, marveling at how disciplined he had become and offering him extra portions of steamed vegetables instead of sweet treats. On weekends, he joined a local martial arts class to learn self-defense moves, not so he could fight back, but so he could stand tall without fear in any challenging situation. His instructors praised his determination and taught him how to block strikes and deliver steady thrusts with calm precision, focusing always on respect and self-control rather than anger or revenge. After several months of practice, his body felt more agile, and he moved with a confidence that surprised even him when he first discovered he could kick high and spin smoothly on one foot. Despite all this change, he kept the small folded square paper in his pocket, the one he wrote 2 years earlier promising that his transformation would one day tell his story without cruelties attached. He reread those words often in quiet moments before bed, smiling at how a simple note had become a compass guiding him toward goals he never dared to dream in his loneliest days. The morning sun shone through his bedroom window as he stretched alongside classmates at the dojo, the gentle stamp of padded floors marking the start of each lesson in self-discipline. Sometimes he winced at the memory of tears he once shed in the bathroom stall, but those moments felt distant now, replaced by the rhythm of training and the kindness of instructors who believed in him. He recorded his progress in a new journal, noting how many more push-ups he could do and how much faster he could sprint, comparing each entry with honest pride but no lingering shame. His dog Max went with him on early runs, trotting happily by his side as if celebrating every step, and Nathan talked aloud to Max about how each mile brought him closer to his best self. Even on cold or rainy days, he refused to skip training, bundling up in layers and tying water-resistant shoes so he could race through puddles without losing his steady pace. During one chilly morning run, he met a new student struggling with a heavy backpack, and he paused to help carry it for a while, offering a warm smile that felt stronger than any muscle he had built. That small act surprised him more than any weightlifting milestone, for it proved that true kindness needed courage, and that strength included helping others when they faced their own struggles. As autumn leaves danced around him, he joined a volunteer group to rake yards for elderly neighbors, using his improved endurance to lift heavy piles while they shared stories over steaming cups of tea. Beneath his newfound confidence, Nathan discovered a caring side that thrived when he offered help instead of hiding, and it surprised his grandmother to hear him plan more community work than ever before. His old notebook filled with weight numbers now sat next to a new one where he sketched pictures of future goals, like running a 5-kilometer race or sparring in a friendly tournament next summer. He dreamed again, but this time with practical steps, mapping out training schedules and meal plans with neat handwriting, believing firmly that every successful journey needed structure and small victories. When winter arrived, he tried snowboarding with friends from the dojo, wobbling at first but laughing as he fell into soft drifts, then rising again with the same stubborn persistence he used in workouts. Each tumble reminded him that failure was part of learning, and he celebrated every new skill as he picked himself up, brushed off snow, and tried again with determined joy in his heart. By spring, his transformation was nearly complete. Friends barely recognized the boy who once disappeared in baggy clothes as he strode through campus with lean muscles visible beneath a snug shirt. He no longer felt invisible or weighed down by hurtful jokes, and he faced mirrors with a grin, proud of the years of hard work etched into every solid line of his arms and legs. Occasionally, he caught a glimpse of shock in the eyes of his former tormentors when he answered questions in class confidently or helped carry heavy textbooks without pausing to catch his breath. He never gloated when they stumbled over words or glanced away nervously, choosing instead to offer gentle words of encouragement when felt right and letting them adjust to the new reality in their own time. The hallways no longer echoed with their cruel laughter, replaced by respectful greetings and small nods as he passed, a quiet testament to how much he had changed and how others had to change too. In a private moment, he took out the folded paper one last time and read the promise aloud, feeling its words resonate deeper now that he had grown into someone he could genuinely respect. He folded the paper carefully and tucked it in his desk, knowing it had served its purpose as a reminder and could now rest in peace beneath a safe stack of books. On the morning of his birthday, he invited a few classmates to a small breakfast gathering, sharing homemade muffins and juice, and they surprised him by thanking him for inspiring them to exercise more. He felt a warm glow rise in his chest at their words, realizing that his journey had sparked positive changes in others and that kindness and strength could grow together in each of them. As the bell rang and he walked to his first class, he glanced back at the spot where Bullies once stood, feeling it like a distant memory with no power over his bright spirit anymore. He understood at that moment that true power lay in choosing his own path, and he had chosen daily effort, compassion, and a refusal to let past cruelty define his future steps. Nathan wiped a small tear from his eye, not from sadness but from pride and relief, knowing that 2 years of quiet work had transformed not only his body but his spirit as well. He stepped into class with a calm smile, ready for whatever came next confident. 2 years of work had given Nathan more than strength or speed. They had given him a plan to share his journey with everyone at the school auditorium. He wrote personal invitations to each of the kids who once called him names, asking them to join a special event that would change their view of him. On the morning of the assembly, Nathan paced backstage in a sharp blazer that fit his new frame perfectly, excitement fluttering in his chest. He had practiced his speech again and again in front of a mirror, choosing words that showed how hard he had worked and how much kindness could matter. When he walked on stage under bright lights, a hush fell over the room instead of the whispers he once heard in the hallways. He paused and looked at the crowd, feeling his heart beat like a drum before taking a steady breath. Behind him, a giant screen displayed a photo of him 2 years ago, wearing baggy clothes and looking sad. The audience gasped softly as they recognized him in that old image. Nathan began by telling how lonely he felt when no one offered friendship in crowded hallways. He spoke of tears he had cried in hidden corners, promising himself that he would change his story one small step at a time. Then he walked to a simple weight bench set up beside him and lifted a barbell with very light weights. With each slow press, he explained how discipline builds real strength rather than cruelty. The screen switched to short clips of his early workouts in the park before dawn. The crowd cheered when they saw him finally mastering push-ups and running with steady breath. Nathan said that he used his new confidence not to hurt others but to help them. He shared a story of carrying a heavy backpack for a new student who struggled in the hallway. He told how he and his teammates raked leaves for elderly neighbors on weekends. The image of warm smiles from the older people on screen made some students wipe their eyes. Then Nathan asked 2 of his former bullies to come on stage. They hesitated but walked forward with curious looks on their faces. Nathan handed each of them a small dumbbell and asked them to lift it once. As they bent their elbows, he showed them the right form and used kind words to guide them. He told them that true power means helping someone up instead of pushing them down. The room filled with applause when they each lifted the weight without dropping it. Nathan then announced a new project that would help students in need get free meals. He explained that his weekend fitness sessions would send money to feed classmates who did not have lunch. On the screen, he showed notes and drawings from kids who said thank you. A few of the former bullies looked down and then offered sincere apologies into the microphone. Nathan nodded and told everyone that forgiveness can heal old wounds. He asked the audience to stand together against bullying from that day on. Students and teachers rose to their feet and cheered louder than any jeers he had once heard. Later, the principal came on stage and gave Nathan a certificate for his leadership and courage. Each person in the crowd shook his hand or patted his shoulder with smiles. Outside the auditorium, he found friends waiting to congratulate him. Max, his dog, sat by his side as students patted the dog with happy laughter. Nathan knelt to hug Max and whispered, "Thank you for being there every step of the way." That evening, his family celebrated with his favorite blueberry pie, and Nathan told them every detail. At bedtime, he pulled out the small paper he had carried for 2 years and read the words he had written long ago. He smiled as he folded the paper and put it into a small wooden box for future students to see. Nathan left the day with a calm heart, feeling a fresh sense of pride. After the award ceremony, Nathan decided to channel his energy into a brand new goal, training for the community 5-kilometer race where he could test his endurance and celebrate how far he had come. He mapped a weekly plan on poster board, marking runs, workouts, and rest days in bright colors so he could track every step toward the race with clear focus and calm excitement. Early each morning, he laced up his running shoes and stole out into the quiet streets, letting the cool dawn air fill his lungs as he counted each measured mile. At the community center gym, he added speed drills and hill sprints to his routine, pushing his legs to grow stronger with every determined stride. After school, he moved to heavier weights, noting in his journal how each extra rep built new muscle and a deeper sense of pride in himself. His grandmother packed him nutrient-rich lunches and snacks, proud to support his healthy habits and cheer on every healthy choice. Max, his loyal dog, trotted beside him on forest trails, barking as if urging Nathan onward whenever he slowed. Nathan joined the city running club, where friendly members showed him better techniques for breathing, pacing, and staying injury-free. He welcomed their coaching and practiced solemnly, determined to finish his first race without stopping even once. Along the way, he befriended other young runners who shared stories of past races and offered tips that helped him improve. They laughed together when a sudden rain shower drenched them, turning their mid-morning jog into a muddy, exhilarating sprint. At school, he invited classmates to join weekend training sessions, and several agreed, curious to see how exercise could change their own lives. When they arrived, he led them through gentle, warm UPS and steady stretches so no one felt left behind or overwhelmed. By showing them his own progress, he found new joy in helping others reach their goals alongside him. Meanwhile, he applied the same discipline to his studies, tackling math problems and history essays with a focus he brought to his workouts. Teachers noted his improved concentration and praised his ability to balance schoolwork with athletics. In art class, he painted a vibrant mural of runners crossing a finish line, using bold strokes to capture hope, effort, and triumph. His artwork hung in the hallway as a reminder that every journey begins with a single step, no matter how small. As the race date approached, Nathan felt a mix of nerves and excitement, remembering the boy who once dreaded bathroom stall lunches. On the morning of the event, he arrived at the park early, greeted by volunteers handing out race bibs and cheering as runners warmed up. He secured his bib to his shirt with practiced fingers and took a moment to breathe in the festive air. When the starting signal sounded, he surged forward with steady rhythm, matching his pace to the beat of his determined heartbeat. The course wound around a sparkling lake and under towering oaks, their leaves rustling soft encouragement in the breeze. Midway through, his legs ached and doubts flickered in his mind, but he recalled his promise and pushed on with quiet resolve. Friends he had invited appeared along the path, shouting his name and offering high fives that fueled his momentum. Near the finish line, Max waited beside excited volunteers, wearing a bright bandana and wagging his tail furiously. With one final burst of energy, Nathan crossed the line with arms raised high and lungs burning with triumph. Volunteers placed a gleaming medal around his neck, and he could not suppress the wide grin that spread across his face. His classmates rushed over to congratulate him, offering handshakes and snapping photos of his proud smile. The mayor presented him with a certificate of achievement, commending his dedication and encouraging him to keep inspiring others. Under the warm morning sun, he sipped water and munched healthy snacks, grateful for every step that led him to this moment. He thought back to tears and lonely hallways and felt proud that he turned pain into power through hard work. That evening, Nathan returned home exhausted but elated, collapsing onto his bed with Max's head resting on his knee. Over dinner, he recounted the race to his grandmother, her eyes shining as she listened to every exciting detail. Later, he pinned his medal next to the folded note that had guided him from the start, a symbol of promise and perseverance. In the days that followed, he set new targets, longer runs, charity events, and plans to help classmates find their own confidence. His life had shifted from hiding in shame to standing tall with kindness, strength, and a desire to lift others up. He continued training, tutoring fellow students in study skills, and organizing weekend wellness meet UPS at the park. Each night he fell asleep dreaming not just of races, but of community bound by support, respect, and shared goals. Nathan woke the next morning ready for whatever challenge lay ahead, confident that his journey of growth had only just begun. Nathan decided to use his experience to help others by starting a lunchtime wellness club in the school gym, inviting any student who wanted to learn about exercise, healthy snacks, self-confidence, and positive habits that could change their daily routine and lives. He created simple flyers with bold letters, bright drawings of fruits, vegetables, running shoes, and smiling faces, posting them on every locker and bulletin board so no one would miss the exciting new opportunity. On the first day of the club, half a dozen curious classmates showed up, some shyly wearing sneakers they had only purchased for gym class, while others brought reused water bottles and hopeful smiles. Nathan greeted each newcomer with a warm smile, a friendly high five, and words of encouragement, making sure they knew this was a safe space to ask questions, try new things, and feel proud of themselves. He led them through gentle warm-up stretches, taught them how to breathe steadily during light jogs around the gym's painted track lines, and explained why each movement helps the body grow stronger over time. He shared tips he learned from his own journey, like drinking water before feeling thirsty, setting small, realistic goals, and celebrating each tiny victory to build lasting confidence in the simplest steps. Students tried balance drills using a jump rope and learned that falling once or twice was part of learning any new skill, giggling whenever they stumbled and cheering loudly when they managed 2 successful turns. They laughed when they wobbled and cheered each other on, sharing stories of why they joined a club, and Nathan felt proud that his hard work now inspired teamwork and genuine friendship instead of cruel teasing. The school nurse stopped by one day to measure their heart rates, offer helpful safety tips, and remind them that caring for the body starts with simple habits practiced every single day for lasting health. Nathan invited his grandmother to bring fresh fruit slices and homemade oatmeal cookies one afternoon, and her warm kindness reminded everyone that caring for the body is also caring for the heart and mind. As weeks went by, more students joined, including some of the bullies who once mocked his weight, curious to see what he had become and hoping to find kindness instead of reasons to tease or judge. Nathan welcomed them without judgment, explaining that the club was about helping each other grow stronger together rather than keeping score or ranking abilities in any way that might feel unfair. A few weeks later, the club organized a weekend fun run in the park, complete with water stations, upbeat music playlists, homemade granola bars, and fresh fruit smoothies prepared by enthusiastic volunteers. Families, teachers, and community members cheered from the sidelines as students of every shape and size crossed the finish line smiling, celebrating effort more than speed or medals. During the fun run, Nathan spotted one former bully struggling to finish, so he confidently slowed his own pace to run beside her, offering words of encouragement and sharing water to keep her going strong. She glanced at him with surprise, then matched his pace until they both reached the last stretch, crossing the line together hand in hand to cheers that rang louder than any past mocking laughter. That moment taught everyone in the park that true strength includes helping friends up, not pushing them down in mockery or shame, and that courage often looks like kindness in motion. Back at school, the principal invited Nathan to speak at a morning assembly about teamwork and healthy choices, praising his leadership and highlighting how simple acts can transform an entire community. He stood behind the podium and shared stories from the wellness club, talking about new friendships born from shared goals, laughter during workouts, and the gentle power of support groups. He explained how kindness and daily effort could transform a whole school culture into one where every student felt welcome, supported, and encouraged to become their best selves through positive action. After his speech, the vice principal asked him to join the student council to plan more events that promoted healthy habits, positive friendships, and community service projects that benefited everyone. Over the next months, Nathan and the council organized painting sessions where students decorated reusable water bottles with inspiring messages, colorful art, and reminders to stay focused on health. They held simple cooking classes in the home EC room to teach easy, delicious recipes for snacks and meals that fueled active bodies, teaching participants life skills beyond just exercise routines. Even the cafeteria staff started offering extra fruit, vegetable options, and whole grain snacks after seeing how excited club members became about choosing colorful, healthy foods each day. One day, a quiet student confessed to Nathan that he had always felt too ashamed to join gym class, and Nathan patiently encouraged him to try one basic exercise in the club before deciding for himself. The boy did one push-up, then again slowly, and urged by cheers from new friends, he managed 5 more with determination, smiling broadly at his own unexpected accomplishment. In art class, the students painted a large mural showing people of different sizes running, lifting weights, and cheering one another on, so every student could see their place in the picture of community growth. Parents sent letters and emails to thank the school for welcoming their children into this new world of support, writing that they had never seen their kids so excited about exercise and friendship. Nathan saved each letter in a handcrafted scrapbook he kept hidden in his desk drawer as a reminder that his own story of struggle had become a beacon of hope for many others. He realized that his biggest victory was not beating others in races or competitions, but bringing people together to share strength, laughter, and a sense of belonging every time they met. At the end of the school year, he received a special award for service and leadership, but he dedicated it to all the students who joined him, insisting that each of them deserved the honor equally. He felt proud of every step they took around the gym, every healthy snack they chose over chips or candy, and every note they passed that said, "Thank you for believing in me." That summer, he continued the wellness club in the local park, inviting neighborhood families to join and making new friends beyond the school hallways as he shared his vision of kindness and fitness. When September arrived, Nathan welcomed new students with open arms, ready to show them a school where patience, respect, and genuine support meant more than any past hurts. He knew the echoes of cruel words might still linger in memory, but they would be drowned out by cheers, high fives, and voices saying, "You can do it," to encourage every step forward. In his pocket, he still carried the small wooden box that held the folded note he wrote 2 years earlier, now alongside letters, drawings, and thank you cards from the friends he had made. He smiled as he felt its weight, a reminder that promises kept, sweat poured, and kindness shared could rewrite the story of an entire school and every life within it. Nathan looked forward to tomorrow's club meeting, excited to teach a new game that combined relay races with healthy snack tasting, promising fun and learning for every participant. As he left the gym that afternoon, he glanced back. Nathan decided to take the wellness club beyond school walls by organizing Saturday morning gatherings in the park near his house, inviting friends and families to join in simple exercises and healthy snacks. He designed bright flyers with clear instructions, listing easy stretches, group walks, and fruit tasting sessions to ensure that newcomers felt welcome and understood every activity at a glance. Every weekend, dozens of people of all ages gathered under tall trees, spreading out yoga mats and water bottles, as Nathan led them through gentle, warm UPS that sparked laughter and encouraged friendly conversation. He introduced short relay races that paired strong runners with beginners, teaching teamwork and empathy by showing how cheering each other on made every step feel lighter and every mile shorter. When the local community center heard about these gatherings, they offered to host indoor fitness classes on rainy days and collect used sports equipment to help others. Nathan organized a fundraiser fun run where participants paid a small fee, and all proceeds were donated to the school's food bank to support students who struggled to afford lunch each day. The event drew families, teachers, and local business owners who set up water stations, handed out energy bars, and shared words of support that reminded everyone of the power of kindness. A reporter from the town newspaper attended and wrote an article about Nathan's leadership, praising his efforts to bring people together through health, positivity, and genuine care for others. After the article appeared, more youth from nearby schools asked Nathan to help them start their own wellness groups, curious to use the same simple ideas in their own communities. He set up online meetings via video call, sharing his step-by-step plans, printable flyers, and tips for creating a supportive atmosphere where every participant felt valued. Over time, he exchanged messages with student leaders from other neighborhoods, learning about their successes and challenges while offering advice to keep their motivation strong. In return, he learned new games and fun exercises he had never tried before, which he adapted for his own club back home, keeping the activities fresh and exciting for everyone. Nathan invited his grandmother to teach short lessons on healthy cooking, and she demonstrated easy recipes for energy bars, fruit salads, and whole grain snacks that tasted delicious. Members of the club helped prepare the snacks, chopping apples, stirring oats, and mixing flavors under her guidance, learning that cooking could be as simple and rewarding as running a lap around the park. He then encouraged club members to share their own family recipes for healthy treats, creating a growing recipe book that reflected the diverse backgrounds of everyone involved. Each time they added a new recipe, they celebrated with a tasting party, using colorful labels and simple nutrition facts that helped everyone learn more about the food they ate. To boost engagement, Nathan introduced a monthly challenge where participants tracked steps walked or fruit portions eaten, and winners received a small medal or notebook to celebrate their achievements. He recorded each winner's name on a wooden board in the gym, turning it into a gallery of success stories that inspired new members to set personal goals and work toward them. Meanwhile, the school principal asked Nathan to mentor a student leadership team, teaching them how to organize events, handle logistics, and lead with compassion and clear communication. Nathan assembled a team of enthusiastic students who met weekly to plan club sessions, fundraising drives, and school-wide wellness fairs that featured guest speakers and interactive booths. At one fair, a friendly paramedic taught basic first aid while a local chef led a cooking demonstration, and students rotated through each station to learn practical life skills in fun, hands-on ways. Behind the scenes, Nathan kept careful records of attendance, budgets, and feedback in a simple spreadsheet, learning important skills in organization and planning that would help him in the future. When he showed these records to his classmates, they were impressed by his professionalism and attention to detail, and many offered to help with data entry and technology tasks. Nathan felt proud to work alongside peers who once ignored him in the hallways, now united by shared purpose and mutual respect for each other's contributions. During spring break, he volunteered at a youth center, leading fitness games for children and teaching them basic stretches and healthy snack options in a lively, supportive environment. The center's staff thanked him for bringing positive energy and smiles to kids who rarely had access to sports programs, and they invited him to return each holiday season. As summer approached, he planned a family fitness festival at the local park, featuring obstacle courses, jump rope contests, and nutrition workshops led by grateful parents and teachers. The festival attracted over 100 attendees who cheered as children raced through tire runs and raised their arms victoriously at the finish, proving that fun and fitness could go hand in hand. Local shops sponsored free water bottles printed with encouraging quotes, and Nathan used those bottles to remind participants that hydration was a simple but powerful habit. He collaborated with a public library to host reading sessions on health and sports careers, inviting authors and athletes to speak and inspire young readers to dream big and stay active. Club members took turns reading aloud from books that explained the human body, sports science, and healthy living, turning the library into an exciting space for both minds and muscles. Through it all, Nathan continued his own training, adding new personal bests to his journal, and including classmates in his workouts to share the thrill of improvement. His grandmother built a small greenhouse in her backyard where she grew herbs and vegetables, and club members helped plant seedlings to learn about farm-to-table eating. They harvested fresh basil, lettuce, and tomatoes, using the produce in cooking demos that showed how homegrown food could taste vibrant and boost health in every bite. Nathan organized a barbecue night where instead of fatty burgers, they grilled lean chicken and vegetables, serving colorful salads and fruit desserts that delighted every taste bud. Students and their families laughed as they tried new dishes, swapped stories of personal growth, and discovered that caring for the body could be deliciously fun in good company. In September, the school year began again, and Nathan prepared a welcome session for new members, using cheerful posters and friendly ambassadors to make everyone feel at home. He realized that this journey had taught him far more than exercise. It had taught him leadership, empathy, and the joy of building a community that thrived on mutual support. Nathan kept the wooden box with his folded note on a shelf in the gym office, surrounded by photographs, letters, and medals that told the full story of how one boy's promise grew into a movement. Each night he slept peacefully knowing that his work had not only transformed his own life, but also planted seeds of kindness and health that would continue to grow for years to come. Realizing his work could help students beyond his own school, Nathan decided to create a wellness guidebook filled with tips, recipes, and motivational stories that anyone could follow and enjoy. He invited club members to share their favorite healthy snacks, morning exercise routines, and kind words that had helped them stay on track during tough days. After school in the art room, students sketched colorful illustrations for each section of the book, drawing fruits, running shoes, and smiling faces to make the pages feel welcoming and fun. The school librarian taught Nathan how to use the desktop computer to format text and images, showing him how to choose clear fonts and arrange headings so readers could navigate easily. Nathan and two friends spent afternoons typing in simple advice on nutrition and workout ideas, using short sentences and bullet points to keep the book easy to read for younger students. When they printed the first copies, the library smelled of fresh ink and paper, and Nathan carefully removed each book from the binder with the pride of a newly published author. He placed copies in the library's front display, the counseling office, and the gym entry, hoping anyone who passed by would pick one up and try the steps inside. In the first week, students borrowed the guidebook and left sticky notes inside to suggest new recipes and extra stretches, turning the project into a living collection of healthy ideas. One quiet fifth grader used the guide to learn deep breathing before tests, finding that calm breaths helped steady nerves and improve focus in class. The vice principal read an article in the staff bulletin about Nathan's project and mentioned it at a faculty meeting, asking every teacher to let students know about the free resource. Feeling encouraged, Nathan wrote a polite email to the district superintendent, explaining how a simple book showed that students could lead positive change if given chances. A week later, the superintendent visited the school assembly and praised Nathan's creativity, announcing a small grant to support wellness programs across the district. With that funding, Nathan and his team organized a month-long healthy habit challenge, asking students in all middle schools to track water intake, steps, and acts of kindness. Participating schools used a shared online form where students logged their progress every evening, earning stickers next to their names on a virtual leaderboard. At the end of the month, all schools gathered for an online award ceremony, and Nathan felt his heart race as his own school won the prize for the most community spirit. Next, Nathan proposed a mentorship program that paired older club members with younger students who needed support, creating bonds that helped both mentors and mints grow. Each mentor attended a 1-hour training session led by Nathan and the school counselor, learning how to listen, set friendly goals, and cheer on their new partners during workouts. Every Tuesday and Thursday after class, mentors met with their mints in the gym for light exercises and study breaks, offering tips on homework and healthy snacks alike. The program built confidence. Shy students found new friends who helped them stretch and read quietly together, and mentors discovered leadership skills they never knew they had. In mid-spring, they hosted a picnic in the park where mentors, mints, families, and teachers shared healthy dishes, swapping smoothie recipes and laughter under the shade of oak trees. They ended the picnic with a fun obstacle course that tested teamwork and problem-solving, cheering loudly as each group crossed the finish line together. Back at school, Nathan checked report cards and saw improved grades from many mints, and he proudly congratulated them in front of classmates for their hard work on both mind and body. Soon the program caught the attention of a state health magazine, and the school principal wrote a letter of recommendation so editors could share Nathan's story with a wider audience. When the article was published, Nathan received letters and emails from students in other towns who wanted to start similar clubs, asking him for advice and printable flyers. In response, he recorded short video tutorials in the school studio on how to lead warm-up exercises and prepare quick healthy snacks, posting them to a simple website he created. He held a live video Q&A session where club leaders from 10 different schools asked questions and shared ideas, turning the screen into a lively discussion of wellness and friendship. A local radio station invited Nathan to speak about student leadership, and during the interview, he explained how small daily actions can build big results over time. After the broadcast, the station office received calls from teens and parents who felt excited to start their own clubs in homes and neighborhoods across the region. Buoyed by these messages, Nathan proposed a summer leadership camp focused on wellness, creativity, and service, drafting a schedule filled with outdoor games, art workshops, and cooking lessons. He recruited volunteers from his club, local artists, and nutritionists to lead sessions, making sure each day offered a mix of learning, laughter, and healthy food. Campers arrived wearing bright shirts printed with a wellness club logo, eager for sunrise yoga, group hikes, and cooking demos that tasted as good as they looked. Every afternoon, they painted murals on camp cabins with themes of teamwork and self-belief, using bold colors and simple phrases that campers could remember. Each evening, Nathan led storytelling circles where campers shared personal dreams and challenges, and they cheered when each camper spoke about one small goal they planned to achieve next. On the final night, families and community members came to see skits and songs created by campers, telling stories of friendship, hard work, and kindness overcoming obstacles. As the campfire crackled under a starlit sky, Nathan realized that each flame in the circle represented a student's dream taking hold and glowing brightly. When camp ended, campers left with small photo books filled with pictures of new friends, recipes, and workout plans they could follow at home or school. Nathan packed the last box of leftover supplies with gentle relief, knowing that each item will be used to spark new journeys in the next session. Back at school in September, he greeted returning club members with high fives and new students with welcome gifts, stickers, seed packets, and copies of the guidebook. He hung photos of the summer camp on a wall in the gym, creating a colorful timeline of success that reminded everyone how far they had come together. Nathan smiled as he closed the door behind him and felt a quiet pride in knowing that one boy's promise had grown into a movement that would continue helping others for years to come. At the beginning of a crisp new year with frost still clinging to bare branches, Nathan sat at his desk and reflected on how far the wellness movement had come, sketching plans for initiatives to reach every student who needed support and encouragement. He imagined a world where every student climbed hills at dawn, tried yoga poses in bright gyms, wore colorful workout gear with supportive friends sharing healthy snacks, and the confidence to chase dreams without fear of teasing. To keep momentum rolling forward, he drafted a detailed proposal for an inter-school wellness week that would unite all middle schools in themed events showcasing fitness challenges, healthy cooking demos, and kindness pledges to build lasting community ties. He scheduled a meeting with the district wellness coordinator, arriving early with binders full of success stories from his school's guidebook, mentoring programs, and summer leadership camp to illustrate the power of compassionate work. The coordinator smiled and invited him to present at a district meeting where superintendents from 10 schools would vote on adopting this student-led initiative and discuss timeline details. Nathan practiced his presentation in the media lab, refining slides with bright infographics, student testimonials, and photos of past events to capture everyone's attention and check transitions between slides carefully. On the morning of the meeting, sunlight poured through boardroom windows as he stood before the panel and opened with a video montage of students smiling as they ran, cooked, learned, and cheered together under upbeat music. He explained that Wellness Week would feature daily themes: Move Monday for relays, Tasty Tuesday for cooking lessons, Wellness Wednesday for mindfulness, and Thoughtful Thursday for acts of kindness to boost school spirit. Board members nodded and asked questions about budgeting, volunteer recruitment, and outcomes, ultimately agreeing that the benefits to student well-being justified their support and shared ideas for measuring long-term impact. With approval secured, Nathan collaborated with student councils to set event dates, recruit volunteers, design banners, and write announcements for newsletters and social media across all grade levels. Back at his school, he worked with art club members to repaint the cafeteria, creating a mural illustrating the Wellness Week logo, vibrant fruits, running shoes mid-stride, and slogans encouraging unity and healthy living. His grandmother helped him bake large batches of whole wheat muffins studded with blueberries, fruit energy bars drizzled with honey, and creamy veggie dips, which they packed in reusable containers for the kickoff that drew students, teachers, and families eager to learn and celebrate together. During the first sunrise yoga session on gym bleachers, he guided classmates through gentle stretches and breathing exercises as dawn light filtered through high windows, turning the polished floor into a soft glow of hope and new beginnings. On Tasty Tuesday, teams from the Home EC class set up interactive cooking stations where students blended fresh fruits into smoothies, layered colorful veggie wraps, and rolled energy balls, all while explaining simple nutrition facts and offering fun taste tests. Later that week, he joined the drama club for a skit about bullying and kindness, outfitted with simple cardboard props and humorous dialogue to demonstrate how supportive words and small, thoughtful actions could replace hurtful insults with genuine encouragement. Social media channels buzzed with photos, GIFs, and short videos tagged #WellnessWeek, showing excited students attempting push-ups in the courtyard, sipping freshly made smoothies, and pinning positive sticky notes onto lockers for classmates to find and enjoy. A local news crew filmed highlights and interviewed Nathan live in the cafeteria, asking how a single promise made in a quiet moment could spark a powerful movement across the entire district and beyond. By Friday afternoon, Nathan tallied more than 300 kindness pledges written on colorful cards, hundreds of healthy snack swaps recorded in his notebook, and record attendance figures at relay races, yoga sessions, and cooking demos held across campus in an inspiring display of teamwork and hope. Exhausted but elated, he watched friends carry home trays of leftover fruits, reusable water bottles printed with the Wellness Week logo, and glossy flyers glowing with bright graphics, all serving as tangible reminders of positive choices and shared effort. When the final bell rang in the packed auditorium, the principal stepped forward and formally announced that Wellness Week would become an annual tradition, prompting an uproar of cheers and a standing ovation louder than any shouts of competition he had ever heard or imagined. Inspired by that triumphant moment, Nathan returned to his desk with renewed energy and sketched plans for a second edition of his popular guidebook, adding fresh chapters on stress relief methods, quick classroom workouts, simple mindfulness exercises, and interviews with peers who had overcome obstacles of any kind. He partnered with the media club to record detailed voiceover guides for each chapter, creating a narrated digital edition that students could stream on phones or tablets while following along with recipes, stretch routines, or reflective journaling prompts in any quiet corner of the school. As summer approached, Nathan launched a weekly podcast called Wellness Voices, inviting student leaders, coaches, local nutritionists, and enthusiastic parents to share accessible tips for healthier living, each episode running 5 to 7 minutes and released every Friday afternoon. He recorded episodes in a small sound studio at the community center, teaching himself basic audio editing and planning theme series focused on hydration hacks, energizing breakfast ideas, daily acts of kindness, and micro workouts that fit into busy school schedules and study breaks. The podcast quickly gained over 75 regular listeners from his peers and beyond, and Nathan eagerly read each encouraging message, especially ones like, "Thanks for teaching me how to stretch before soccer practice. I feel more flexible now," which filled him with pride and purpose. In his free periods, he reached out to a nearby high school to mentor senior students interested in starting wellness clubs, sharing template flyers, sample meeting agendas, pep talk scripts, and practical tips via video calls that often ran long through the late afternoon. One crisp spring afternoon, he met virtually with students in another state, watching their first online club meeting unfold as his warm guidance helped them practice coherence-building warm-up routines and establish a supportive atmosphere right over the screen and speakers. Nathan realized his quiet promise, once folded in a pocket-sized note, had grown into a dynamic network of caring students, families, teachers, and community partners all working together to support each other's health, confidence, and growth in every neighborhood. At home, he and his grandmother turned a corner of her living room into a mini research station, charting data on water intake, mood improvements, stamina changes after exercises, or breathing techniques, and noting results in booklet form for easy sharing.